How do you sit on stool with good posture? Your turn.
Okay. I am going to roll all the dice there.
I always thought that Karma would be the perfect mother, and the idea of having children never really appealed to me until I was with Karma. Do you remember that first day on the tram?
Yes, I do. It's very, very memorable because you were wearing a long black trench coat.
It was
and
a phase,
you still
okay.
had red hair, of course. Yeah, so I can definitely remember you. And I remember you being a little bit awkward and very, very cute. And we didn't get to talk much because you pretty much had to jump off the tram straight away.
I actually can't remember the very first conversation about having children, but I think it was probably me who brought it up.
I am going to also play a bird.
Ooh,
How does that actually work?
So I think it just adds up all the little... One of the things about lesbian relationships is that you have to decide who is going to carry the children. Like in a straight relationship, it's pretty obvious. But for us, we decided to work it out by rock, paper, scissors. Karma and I fell in love with what we thought of as our kids when they showed us on the blastocyst on the screen, because before they inject you with the blastocyst, they now have a little camera on the microscope. There's this big screen and you see it, and in that one tiny cell, all your dreams for your family. I was ridiculously overconfident going into IVF. I felt like I knew everything and like I knew exactly what to expect and exactly how it was all going to happen. I was the first IVF surrogate kid to be born in Australia and the second in the world. Like, I'd been talking about IVF since I could talk.
Alice Kirkman's life has been a public one from the beginning. She was born after Maggie Kirkman's sister Linda carried her for Maggie, who was unable to have children. That broke new ground in the IVF field and caused legal debate over who was the actual mother.
When I had the hysterectomy at 30, when fibroids were discovered, I was absolutely devastated. I lay in hospital feeling that my life was over, and I got quite depressed. But I began to think that either my life was over or I could work out how to live a life happily without children, and I worked very hard on doing that. It was only once Sev had suggested the possibility, he said, well, I thought they're doing IVF and they prepare an embryo, fertilise an egg in a petri dish and put it back in the woman. Why can't they put it back into another woman? And I thought immediately of my sister Linda. We were having dinner with Linda and Jim, had driven to stay up at their house.
Maggie and I both opened our mouths at the same time, and I said, apropos of nothing, I'm sorry, I couldn't have a baby for you. Because I'd thought of surrogacy as providing the egg and the whole thing. And Maggie's jaw dropped and she said, we were just going to ask you. I said, well, tell me more. And they explained about IVF and using Maggie's egg, and that was fine. I was cool with that.
We've said all along that if Linda suddenly felt that she was the baby's mother, we wouldn't argue about it. We would let her keep Alice.
I've always considered myself to be her aunt, not her mother.
Growing up, as a teenager, I was very adamant that I was never going to have children. Didn't want them. Because Mum had always told me she had really wanted children her whole life, and her experience of infertility was shattering. So I was adamant. I did not want kids. I wasn't going to go after them because I did not want to set myself up for that kind of disappointment. Unfortunately, plans change. Going through IVF was the hardest thing I have ever done to my body, because you pump your body full of hormones to make it think it's pregnant. And you have to act like you're pregnant, and you have to keep taking the medication. And so you just start talking into it. You start holding your belly. You feel like you're pregnant. And then you get your period. And then it dies. And you can't get that back. And that sucks. And so, yeah, that grief is very real and it doesn't go away. It just gets better. Sorry, I need 1 sec. And all while this is going on, you're depleting all of your savings because the clinics charge what they think you're willing to pay. And obviously, if you're trying to have a family, you're willing to pay absolutely anything so you can get that baby. But we budgeted a certain amount of money for us to do IVF and we ran out of that money. I haven't been given any reason why I haven't been able to get pregnant. There's nothing physically wrong with me. Sometimes you just don't get pregnant and it takes a while. Maybe my eggs aren't good. Maybe the sperm we chose wasn't good. It hurts a lot, both emotionally and physically, and it takes years to get past if it doesn't work. When you start IVF, you have to set yourself up to be okay to come out of the process with nothing. And at the end of that process, you have to be able to find a way to be child-free, not childless, because this does not work for everyone. And you have to have a plan B. Shall we go around by order of age?
The youngest first.
So I think Dad can go first. So we are currently 3 years post IVF, and at the buy a really nice apartment that children would ruin and go out to restaurants and travel whenever we feel like it, part of the journey of being child-free. We oscillate between whether or not we're just going to stay child-free or if we're going to adopt or foster. But I think now we're in that exciting position where we get to choose what our family will look like and choose who will be in our family.